This is a real screenshot, by the way, from a Facebook group of what are you charging per square foot. Don't send a proposal to your customer by doing this. Let's say I am a square foot contractor, I have a square foot rate, and I'm bidding a job for Mrs. Jones. It's 400 square feet. I apply my square foot rate, and I sell the job, I do it, I'm happy. That job was a 20 by 20 patio, square, minimal cuts, one side up against the house, only 3 sides are edge restrained. How long does that take? 2 days? Now Mrs. Smith wants a job. It's also 400 square feet, and I used the same square foot rate. Except this time, it's a 100-foot long sidewalk, curved, with a soldier course border. Still 400 square foot. How long does that job take? Double? Triple? But I charge the same rate? That's why templates and production rates are why do people do this? Because it's fast and it's easy. Templates and production rates give you the same fast and easy. But if I'm doing the square patio versus the curved sidewalk, guess what's going to change? The hours needed to do the job. Everything else stays the same. And so templates and production rates allow you to flex the variables with the variable. Like if it's going to take longer labor, or if it's going to take more aggregate because it's a raised patio, or whatever. Like that's all you're changing. Is the thing that's changing. Instead of saying like, oh well, if it's difficult to access, my square foot rate is X. That's, there's so many assumptions baked into this, and that's why it doesn't work. To make sure I'm clear on the definition of things, when I say cost, what I mean is the things you buy if you win the job. If you don't win the job, you don't buy these things. Okay? The overhead costs are the bills that you need to pay whether you win the job or not. These bills are still due. And oh, by the way, owner's salary is one of them. The market doesn't care. I have these bills that are going to be due regardless, and net profit is what is left after there literally is not another bill left to pay. The owner's been paid, the overhead is covered, my direct costs, my suppliers are all covered, there is not another bill left to pay. That is your net profit. This is what pricing a job should look like. I take my direct costs and I mark the direct costs up to cover my overhead costs for the time that I'm going to be on that job. That gives me my break even. Then I add my profit margin, and there's my customer's price. And if I don't have this, and I send that bid to Mrs. Jones for $17,460, and she says, I love it, but I got 15 grand, let's do it. When can you start? And I say, well, 15, I said 17, my direct cost is 12, that's a $3,000 spread. Yeah, doesn't sound too bad, huh? Until you realize what your true break even is on that job, and you're like, whoa. The best antidote I have seen to that confidence problem in my first couple slides is when a contractor knows their actual break-even on every job. So if you're in SynkedUP and it says $21,387, and Mrs. Jones says, I got 20, in SynkedUP you can say, okay, let me plug 20 in and see what that does. Ooh, that's a 2% net profit. Yeah, no point in doing it. Sorry. That is the most effective thing to give you that steely confidence and switch to negotiating on scope instead of being tempted to take the cave on the price. Back to some more discipline of job costing. Why should I do this? Why should I get my team to care about this? You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything I'm telling you. What I want you to realize is you want to do this. I'm just a guy here trying to share what we've learned the hard way. It took us way too many years to learn it. And hopefully your emotional response is not like, yeah, but that's too hard, or like, I don't want, my guys are never going to do that. It's like, okay, I mean, you sleep in the bed that you make. I want you to care. This is for your benefit, and effectively your team and your family as well. But if you're not job costing, my favorite analogy of explaining it is like, say you go to a shooting range, you put your rifle in the sandbags, you put the crosshairs right on the bullseye, and you squeeze off what feels like the perfect shot, and you never look where you hit. Chamber another round, you shoot again. Never look where you hit. Chamber another round. You blow through your whole box of ammo, and then you are finally out of ammo. You're like, yeah, where you walk up to that target, and you've been missing the whole time. And you're out of ammo, out of cash. You see the analogy? The idea of job costing is I shoot once, I look where I hit. I walk back to the scope, and I fiddle with the dials and shoot again. Walk up to the target, look where I hit, fiddle with the dials, shoot again. And after a while, I'm getting better and better and better at hitting in the sweet spot. But the only way I'm going to know is if I walk up to the target and look. And oh, by the way, if I've been tracking the hours and materials so I can look. And then the idea is I look at the job costing. Oh, that took 80 hours. I bid 60. let me go fiddle with my production, and let's say it's not an anomaly. Let me go fiddle with my production rate so that the next time I bid a similar sized job, it's going to give me 80 hours, not 60. And that's what going from here to here looks like. When you do this, if you fix the rates in a budget, this is fundamentally easier because you can sit down and do it in an hour. And you track the resources, that's the hard part. This is what gives you that 100% confidence. Because when you come up with your bid and it's 138,000, like it's 138,000. My break even on that's 122 or whatever it is. Like no, I can't do it for 125. We're not TJ Maxx where everything's 50% off. Construction doesn't work that way. And here's the thing: we live in a consumeristic society. Homeowners don't necessarily understand that construction isn't like, oh, give me a discount. It doesn't work that way, because of the consumeristic kind of like everything's 50% off all the time at every department store ever. What I like to suggest is don't position yourself on the opposite side of the negotiating table with your customer. Instead, go over and join them on their side of the table, and you position yourself as the subject matter expert, giving them expert suggestions on how they can go from 138,000 to 120 by cutting the lighting, making the design simpler, phasing something out, or like whatever. You get the idea. And when you do that, you will have two types of clients. One, the first one is like, they were just doing it to see what you would do. And if you're not confident in your rates, guess what you're going to do? You're going to take them up on their offer because you need the money tomorrow. Or the consultative, serving the customer, serve your customer like you would your grandmother, right? Okay, I get that you don't have 138, but if I did this and I did that, I could get you down to that 120. Would that still be okay with you, or is that part of the job super important to you? And they will be grateful to you for giving them expert suggestions on what they could do to hit their goal on the budget and their project. So either they'll be like, oh, okay, never mind, this guy knows what he's talking about, or they'll be grateful. And either way, you win. And your profit doesn't lose.